In 1993, the world was introduced to one of the finest pieces of cinematography ever, Jurassic Park. The movie was fantastic, and of course, with every movie that could potentially appeal to kids, Jurassic Park had a slew of games released for our consoles in the early 90s. Since then, there's been more Jurassic Park movies, Jurassic World movies, and more games have come out along the way. For many, the peak of Jurassic Park games was Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, which was a simulation game sort of like a Sim City or a theme park, in which you build your own Jurassic Park that originally released on the PlayStation 2 and original Xbox back in 2003. Then in 2018, with the rise of the Jurassic World movies, Jurassic World Evolution released on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, which was essentially like a spiritual successor to Operation Genesis. I actually played the game originally on the Xbox One and liked it, but I couldn't help but feel that it would be a perfect game for the Nintendo Switch due to the hybrid nature of the system. Now Jurassic World Evolution Complete Edition has just come out for the Nintendo Switch, and Frontier was kind enough to send over a review copy, and as a huge fan of the source material, I was more than ready to check out this version of the game. So how did it turn out? Before we find out, let's toss it over to our special guest, Mr. John Hammond.
Welcome to Jurassic Park. Well, really Jurassic World Evolution Complete Edition for the Nintendo Switch, but I never said that in the film now, did I?
So the main meat of Jurassic World Evolution is the campaign mode of the game. Essentially, you're given the task of creating your own Jurassic World across 5 different islands, starting out on Isla Manticeros. The goal of the game is to get a 5-star rating on each of these islands, but obviously that's much easier said than done. Thankfully though, the game doesn't really just sort of throw you out there into the Jurassic world, but eases you in by having a bit of a story that features various new characters and Dr. Ian Malcolm, voiced by Jeff Goldblum himself. Basically, you have to build up the park in order to make it profitable, enjoyable for customers, and of course safe. One of the main ways you do this is by, of course, breeding dinosaurs.
We have a T-Rex!
By sending out a team on an expedition, they will uncover various DNA artifacts that are then sent to the lab to be harvested. The more of a certain breed you end up getting, the higher genome of the dinosaur, thus creating a better version of that dinosaur. Once you have your dinosaur actually ready, you release it into the pen area that is pre-built, but you can adjust and rinse and repeat. Of course, the dinosaurs need access to things like water and, more importantly, food, so you have to take that into consideration as well. You could build things like feeders for the dinosaurs, both for the carnivore and herbivore dinosaurs, so that food consistently stays throughout. Rangers come into effect in this case, and they're used for a variety of things. Rangers can refill empty feeders, repair various structures and even buildings, and even administer medicine if a dinosaur is sick via a rifle. Now what's cool about the Rangers is you can actually take control of the Ranger, drive to the location, and shoot the shot to make the dinosaur not sick anymore should you want to do that, or you could just delegate the task so it's done automatically. Since we are talking about dinosaurs that are both herbivore and carnivore, you quickly realize that putting these two types together isn't a good move at all, well, because the carnivore will snuff them out quickly and you have a dead dinosaur on your hands. You can of course build different types of fences and structures to separate the two, which is a smart thing to do. You also build different things for your guests to enjoy on your island, such as a hotel, a gift shop, a restaurant, and a bathroom if they gotta drop a Jurassic deuce. Keeping your guests safe is a top priority as well, because sometimes these dinosaurs will break down the fence and kinda go on a murderous rampage.
Fine, Nedry, check the vending machines!
When this happens, you call in the ACU Center, which is a helicopter that will tranquilize the dinosaur, and then you can transport them back to their pen after you assign a ranger to repair the fence. Once again, like playing as the ranger, you could switch over to the rifleman in the helicopter and take down the dinosaur yourself or automate the task. I like to mix it up sometimes because it can honestly be pretty fun to take control and snipe a dinosaur from a helicopter. Every boy's dream. Beyond that, there is of course management of power resources, and you're constantly searching for new stuff to add to your park by doing things like getting your park's reputation up in certain aspects. There are 3 key aspects in which your park is regulated: entertainment, security, and science. The missions you are given in the game will impact 3 of The missions you are given in the game will impact all three of these, some raising the aspects and lowering other aspects, so you have to keep it balanced in order to unlock more stuff within the game.
The most advanced amusement park in the entire world. And I'm not just talking about rides, you know? Everybody has rides. No, we have made living biological attractions so astounding, they'll capture the imaginations of the entire planet.
After your first island gets a high enough rating, you unlock subsequent islands after that, each with their own theme and variations that make it different from the previous one. Now, most of my time was spent just tinkering with the first island, but there's still a ton of content here to explore, and in order to get more breeds of dinosaurs and unlock more technology, you are encouraged to advance through the campaign missions. After you get a 4-star rating on your first island, you also unlock the sandbox mode, which is sort of like the ultimate god mode of the game. You have no limits on money, there's no tasks to be done, you just sort of do whatever you want in the game, pending that you have unlocked these things in the campaign missions first. There's also a challenge mode that has unique unlocks for the game as well. Now, challenge and sandbox were added into the original game later via DLC, and since this is the complete edition, Nintendo Switch owners get all of the updates from the game and the DLC from the game as well, including the greatest piece of DLC of all time, Return to Jurassic Park. In this game mode, you return to the original Jurassic Park after the events of the first film, and have to rebuild the park to its former glory. What's amazing to me is not only is all of the branding in this changed to the original Jurassic Park branding, and not only are your dinosaurs more traditional breeds that you saw in the first film, but Dr. Grant and Dr. Sadler from the movie joined Dr. Malcolm to do full voiceover work in the campaign of this as well.
You'll have to excuse Dr. Malcolm. He suffers from a deplorable excess of personality, especially for a mathematician.
Honestly, this mode alone makes the game awesome in my opinion because it's from the first movie, and there's even nice little touches such as the little DNA strand character from the start of the movie being in the branding of this. Just brilliant work on this DLC. Now, one thing I was very interested in seeing was just how well the Nintendo Switch would run this game. A lot of simulation games seem to chug on the Nintendo Switch, with games like City Skylines having some major performance issues, but honestly, for the most part, Jurassic World Evolution Complete Edition runs pretty solid. Now, it doesn't look nearly as good as the Xbox One or the PS4 versions of the game. There's definitely more pop-up, and yes, there are a few chug moments in the frame rate, but for the most part, I think it looks rather acceptable. The weather effects are here. Dinosaurs themselves look pretty cool and decently detailed. You can see them eat and drink and, well, even devour guests. And while it's definitely not spectacular, I think it's pretty decent and gets the job done. Now, handheld mode, things get a little bit murky, which is honestly unfortunate.
Damn!
The resolution and screen clarity go way down in handheld mode, and things can honestly get really blurry. It can also be a little bit hard to see things happening because of how large your park will be and, well, how small your screen is. Now, it's definitely playable and serviceable, as I played a few hours of the game in handheld mode, and really your eyes do sort of adjust to it, but docked mode definitely looks substantially better, so if you can, that's how I would prefer to play this game. Audio-wise, everything is pretty top-notch, with great voice acting from the original cast and acceptable voice acting from the new people. I will say the fake John Hammond they got wasn't super good for the Jurassic Park theme stuff in the game, but I mean, it probably did sound better than mine, so I can't really talk all that much. So should you snag Jurassic World Evolution Complete Edition for the Nintendo Switch? I think it depends. If you don't like simulation-based games like Theme Park or SimCity, then no, because honestly it plays like a lot like those games. There's tons of micromanaging, tons of tasks to do, and it's definitely just not an action-orientated game. The learning curve can be a little bit steep as well, and it's a game that you'll have to invest a lot of time in order to unlock and see everything. I've put a good bit of time into this game so far, and I honestly feel like I've only scratched the surface with a lot of things, which can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what sort of game you are wanting. If you are somewhat a fan of simulation games and enjoy dinosaurs, then I think the core experience of Jurassic World Evolution is great. It does definitely look better on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, so if you have one of those consoles and don't really care about portable mode, you might be better picking it up on one of those. If you only own a Nintendo Switch though, I do think Jurassic World Evolution Complete Edition is filled to the brim with great content, and having all the updates and the DLC definitely give you a lot of value in this version of the game. Like I said, I do wish handheld mode looked cleaner, but it's more than playable, and let's be real, I mean, dinosaurs kick ass. I do hope that eventually a physical version of the game does get a release, because right now it is only digital, and I'd have no issue snagging a physical copy of this game if it ever came out. If you like sim games, you like dinosaurs, and you're a fan of Jurassic Park and World films, I think this is a solid game that you'll probably enjoy. So those are my thoughts on Jurassic World Evolution, complete edition for the Nintendo Switch. I hope you guys enjoyed this little getup I made here. And got the hat, the glasses, the shirt, and little beard dye. I like John Hammond. I thought he was such a cool character in Jurassic Park. You know, he had a lot of great quotes as well, so I figured, what the hell, let's dress up as him for this review. But let me know in the comments section down below what you think of Jurassic World Evolution complete edition for the Switch. Did you play this on other platforms, or do you plan on picking it up on the Nintendo Switch? And if so, what are you looking forward to the most into doing in the game? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, be sure to check out other videos on the channel as well. And as always, I will catch you guys on the next video. I've got to go back to Jurassic Park. Later.